everyone. Hi. Cory Michelle here with Advanced Manifestation Community. Welcome. Say hi to me in the chat. Hi. I am so excited. I have been on the phone all morning with some just really amazing people who just came out of the Transform Yourself program, and they're sharing with me how much magic is showing up in their lives now and how they've shifted from people pleasing to really being able to say no to what they don't want to do, stepping in a new phase of their life. Like, oh, so exciting. I love seeing people transform. So hello, everybody. We have the topic today of subconscious blocks again. And I have a couple of things I want to share with you guys. So first of all, hello, everybody. Second of all, the subconscious block I want to talk about today is follow through. Now, follow through isn't the block, but follow through shows up. Lack of follow through, ability to follow through shows up, and there's a block underneath that. So I want to talk about that today. Okay. But before I do that, I want to share with you, some of you guys have already done this, but I want to share with you this quiz. That is awesome. And some of the results that we got from the quiz. So I'm going to start there. First of all, you're going to want to take this quiz if you haven't taken it yet, because the quiz is find out your number one subconscious manifestation block. And in that quiz, what people are saying is, oh my God, that was accurate. Like, wow, I didn't really see that, but whoa, you really pegged me. On the other side of that quiz, there is a 10-minute video that shows you about that block. Like, we'll talk all about that block, why that block is there. And a lot of stuff, the feedback we're getting is that people have been struggling with this particular block for a long time, but didn't know why and didn't really know what it was. So we really talk about what's going on there and how to actually start to come out of it. Now, the next thing is you get invited to a presentation where I talk about the subconscious blocks, how to get free of them, and why I think becoming your future self is the only effective way to come out of these unconscious blocks when you have already done all the work. You've already done clearing, you've already done your trauma work, you've already done all the things, but you're still stuck. You've tried all the hacks. You're literally are like, why isn't this gone yet? If that's you, then the presentation will be really helpful in showing you what's next. Okay. How do you really step into your future self? And why do I think that is the most effective way to go beyond any subconscious block, no matter what it is, no matter how long it's been there, so that you can manifest your dream life? Okay. So you get on this quiz right here. You go take it. Thank you very much for posting it in there, Erin. And it truly has been eye-opening for people, and these presentations are really great. So we're doing them live. So I've got one that's going to happen in 25 minutes from right now. So I'm going to jump from here to there if you guys want to join me and keep the vibe going. All right. So that is that. So Judith is saying she got SCOMB. So you can find out what that is and then find out what else might be possible. Okay. Yeah, it's good. So my manifestation block was freedom, and I was surprised. Yeah. A lot of times people have all of them, or all of the three that I've pinpointed here, because I've pinpointed the top three that people get stuck with, because everything can go back to these three, and most of the time there's more than one. It's not just one. The top one is just the top one we identified in the moment. Most people have at least two, if not all three, entangled together. But if we can start looking at that, we can start changing it. Okay, awesome. All right, so let's talk about follow through. Okay, now tell me this: how's your follow through going? What does follow through even mean to you? Okay, the follow through I'm talking about is in a couple of areas. Number one, following through on your awareness. Okay, if you can follow through on your awareness, all right, there's no blockages there. If you can't follow through on your awareness and you always are saying things like, I knew that was going to happen. Oh, I knew that was going to happen. And you still didn't follow. You chose something else. You got something going on in there. And when we can identify what's going on that keeps you from really trusting yourself and having confidence in your awareness, then everything in life changes. Who you be changes because you have confidence in yourself. And confidence in your awareness is huge, right? Because we're completely entrained out of confidence in our awareness, right? We have all this awareness as a kid, but we're told to do the right thing, follow the rules, be a good girl or boy, right? Do the right thing, not the bad thing or the wrong thing. And then we get entrapped in this box that keeps us playing that game instead of playing the game of following your awareness. Okay. Now, the second area of follow through is around following through of what you say you're going to do. So if you say you're going to start working out and then you don't, if you say you're going to do a meditation and you don't, you say you want to create your business, but you don't, you say you want to whatever, and then you don't, you have a little bit of a breakdown there. And where this comes in, tell me if this is you in the chat, by the way. Now, this is one that we oftentimes will make ourselves really wrong for, right? Because we're not actually honoring ourselves. Because we're saying, yes, we're going to do that, but then we're not doing it. So, what is that? Okay. And when we have the self criticism and the self judgment layered in there, it just locks you around in a circle. We start going around and around in a circle and we say, well, I really want to do this and I'm going to commit, I'm going to try. And then you do it 2 times and then you stop. And there's a breakdown. Okay. There's a breakdown in there. So, following through for yourself, how well do you do on a scale of 1 to 10? How well are you following through for what you say you would like to have or choose or do? Okay. Tell me in the chat. All right. Now, follow through for your awareness, follow through for what you say. And I think the other element, so those are the 2 main ones. Actually, I'm just going to stick to those today. There's more, but those are the 2 ones I'll talk about today. When we can effectively sort of bridge the gap between not trusting yourself and not honoring yourself, then what starts to happen is we start to become aligned. What do we become aligned with? Well, whatever we're trying to be aligned with, right? Whatever sort of underneath the surface of everything, like what's guiding you anyway, right? Because when we're not following our awareness, then what are we following? What are we choosing instead? That's a good question to ask yourself. If you're not following your awareness, what are you choosing instead? Now, some people come to me and say, I don't even know what my awareness is. Well, and then in that case, you want to start looking at, hey, what is my awareness? How does my awareness come in? How does it work? And so much of the time we come into this situation where we start going, I knew that was going to happen. Who can relate? I knew that was going to happen. I started saying that to myself all the time. And at one point I went, maybe I knew that was going to happen because I'm aware. What if I actually start choosing based on what I'm aware of instead of proving to myself how aware I was by not choosing it? Because here's the thing that happens, and this is what one of my very first spiritual teachers said. He said, when you follow your awareness, you won't be aware that, how do I even say this? You won't be aware of what not following your awareness creates. You'll only be aware of this higher timeline where you followed your awareness. So you avoid crap, right? And I think about that in relationship to my own experience of dating all of these guys where I was like, well, let me see where this goes. But I knew there was red flags, right? But I was like, let me see where this goes. But if I wouldn't have seen where it went, I wouldn't have experienced all of this other crap. I would have been on to, maybe having a relationship that was totally different, right? So we skip over a lot of tough stuff to go through, I think, a lot of times. But those tough stuff, when we choose those things that give us heartache, in my case, or give us those chances to become even more aware, and experience what we don't want, then it actually gives us those experiences of saying, oh yeah, that's what that choice of not following my awareness created. What if I actually followed my awareness, right? What if I actually saw the red flag and said, okay, we don't need to go there? What would that create? Okay. Now, on the other side of honoring yourself, right? Every time we say we want to have something, we got to look at, is that really want? Right? Like we say, oh, well, I want to work out. That was one of my things. I want to work out because why? Why? Because I think that if I work out, I'm going to lose weight. Okay, well, why do I want to do that? Because I don't like the way my body looks, right? or however that, whatever that pathway is for. Well, that was my pathway. But was I really committed to making any changes? No, because I was in this little energetic addiction cycle of, I really like what I'm eating. I really like what I'm doing. I don't really want to go work out and eat differently. I really am liking what I'm doing. So trying to put, like I would call icing on a poo pie, where you go, "Oh, I want to fix my situation, but I'm not really wanting to do anything about it because I really am getting something out of it." Right? I'm getting this being a sugar addict. I'm getting my what do they call that? The dopamine hit from the sugar, right? I don't really want to change it, right? Then we got to look at it and be truthful with ourselves. And once I got to the point where I was like, oh, that payoff that I'm getting from liking what I'm choosing that's not creating what I want is no longer valuable to me anymore. I actually want to make a shift now. How can I make this shift in a way that honors myself? Not trying to force myself to do, all these crazy workouts every week, or not try to force myself to get the 10,000 steps in a day or whatever, what everybody else says, but how can I start setting up uh, habits that are congruent with honoring myself and the way I want to look and feel? Okay. And so instead of avoiding looking at how I was addicted to sugar, for example, and really liking being lazy, and not lazy as a judgment, like I was really liking not doing anything at all, uh, and going, I was really liking that, but is it creating what I want? And what's this payoff I'm getting here? So we can start to see the underbelly of our blocks, right? In or what is blocking us. Now, ultimately what is going to shift from an unconscious block to having a totally different reality and experience of life where that block isn't there anymore, whether it's the lack of follow through in either one of these areas or anything else. What'll start to happen is there's a new reality, a new version of you who just doesn't do that to yourself anymore. And that's what I started seeing for myself. I started saying, you know what? The version of me who just doesn't give up on myself, the version of me who doesn't slack off on myself, that version of me has got to come in more dominant than this old version of me that is creating stuff that I don't want, or at least I'm saying I don't want it. Right. But on some level, I'm kind of enjoying it at the same time. Right. So I go, okay, so what else is available? What am I really wanting here? What am I becoming aware of that's going to be different, where I'm actually going to have to choose differently? That might be uncomfortable. That might be stepping into creating new patterns for myself. What's available here? All right. What are you guys seeing from this? And hi, everybody just joining. What are you guys seeing? When we look at the subconscious, we can find why everything in your life is showing up. Everything. Because your subconscious is running 95% of your life. 95% of your energies, your choices, your perspectives, everything. 95%. And if your subconscious is programmed as this version of you, for me, it was all about sabotaging myself. What I wanted, I couldn't really have. Right? And so that version of you is subconsciously programmed in. Why? Because you've repeated it for a long time. And to shift that, we've got to program in a different version of you. You're not broken. You don't need to be fixed. There's nothing wrong with you. Especially when you've already done the healing work, you've already, been trying to manifest for a while, you've done clearings, you've done the hypnosis, you've done so many different things. The last element for so many people is really learning how to become, which the becoming isn't actually even becoming. It's more like shedding the old version of you as important and significant and dominant and your priority, and really being to step into a new version of you. Yeah. Would you like to step into a new version of you effectively? Right? Because there's so many things out there, right? And we've all done them, right? The manifestation hacks, watching the YouTube videos, classes, clearings. Everybody knows I spent 8 years trying to clear all my problems and my incongruencies, and it never really worked out as well as I knew was possible, which is what kept me going. And I was on a never-ending loop of focusing on my problems, focusing on the lack, focusing on where I wasn't it yet. I wasn't I was like, "Well, I'm not following through, so there's a problem. I have a problem with following through." No, I had a problem committing to things that I that wasn't ever gonna follow through with, right? So it wasn't, and that was a subconscious thing, right? I was subconsciously like, "I should do this. I should, if I want to lose weight, then I should do this diet and I should do this exercise and should." Not looking at it in a particular way of saying, "Well, what was actually going to work for me here? What if I set up new healthy habits? What if I can commit to feeling great with my body and start noticing what I'm choosing that's making me not feel great?" Totally different way. And that's when we start to repattern in our future self into our subconscious. Because the truth is, you don't actually have a block. You have incongruence. You have a version of you that's a dominant identity that's running your subconscious. And that dominant identity is creating your life. And then we go, "But I want this over here. I want this." And we go, "All right, let's try to get there from this version of us," which that's why it doesn't work. To have this life, to have these things show up, to have this experience, you're going to have to become the version of you that has that, which isn't about fixing. It's not about clearing. It's not about any of that. It's about being and becoming, being that version of you and identifying that version of you, bringing that version of you into the now. Because there's no block. The block shows up because this version of you is incongruent with what you newly desire. That's the block. It's incongruent. Yeah. Cool. All right. That's where I am. New here. Hi, Tony. Welcome, welcome. Block is clarity. Fantastic. Well, in the presentation I'm going to do in 12 minutes here, I'll show you even deeper why this is happening and how this works and how you can go to the other side of it. But you've got to be willing to have a whole perspective shift. You've got to be willing to say, "Hey, what I've been doing isn't really working as effectively as I would like. I'd like something else that would work even better." And be able to see sort of the line of awareness. It's not really a line, but the space of awareness that is just different than maybe you've ever perceived any of this before. Because if you've been somebody who has judged yourself or has had a lack of confidence or has been a people pleaser, that's the freedom one. Freedom is people pleaser, right? Confidence is when you set up, you're always like setting up a plan but not following through. So there's a confidence going on in there. And then clarity is oftentimes when you have been told that you are not, you shouldn't trust yourself, basically, is clarity. Yeah. Cool. Awesome. Awesome. Well, I'm going to jump off here and get ready for this presentation. If you want to join me, you just need to take the quiz. And then once you get to the video, you can watch the video. It's about 10 minutes long, and then sign up for one of the presentations. And the next one is starting in 11 minutes from right now. And if you're watching this later, there'll be other presentations available for you. And I'm doing these ones right now live. So depending on when you're watching it, you might catch it later when it's a recorded one. But these ones are live. So we got to hang out for like 90 minutes. And we're going to deep dive into this because this is really where the opening to advanced manifestation is. Because you start to, when you get to the other side of this, you start to really get how you can manifest anything. Anything. How you're not broken, there's nothing wrong with you, how your subconscious is working actually perfectly, but how to get it working for you so that you can have the experience of life that you want to have. That's the most important thing, is when we're in this space where we want more, but we're still being this old version of ourselves, we don't really know what to do to shift it. It's like, what do I do? And then we try to fix ourselves. That's the automatic thing that everybody does, is we want to fix ourselves. We want to clear the energy. We want to make all the heaviness go away. But that doesn't change who you're being. And that's a whole different way to go. And that's what we specialize in. Awesome, you guys. Alrighty. Thank you for joining me today for the subconscious manifestation blocks number 7, or not 7. Why am I saying 7? 4. This was number 4 about subconscious blocks. The live session is actually, you have to register for it. And when you register for it after the quiz, then you can pick the time and I'll give you the link to come to that. All right, you guys, thank you for joining me, and I hope this was beneficial. Please let me know what your ahas are below, and I hope you join me on the presentation. Get your quiz results, and I will see you there. All right. Bye, guys.